Hey, there we go. Sorry about that. My mic, as soon as I went to go live again, this is like the second time it happened, had a little freak out and was like, I don't know if I want to work today, which is fair. Neither do I. So, give me 1 second here and we will get started proper. Hey, here we go. I don't hear anything. Okay. Now we're back to it. So, give me 1 second. I also wanted to turn on a little bit of musica. You can chill out and relax. It's going to be a fun day today. Basically, what we're going to be doing is talking about two things, really. One of them is going to be the main event, which you probably saw at the thumbnail, but that is talking about the lore contest winners. And the other one is going to be doing a hobby hangout, as I normally do. Now, I'm going to not bury the lead here. I'm going to jump right into the contest winners. If you look at the description of this video down below, you will see a link to the new and improved 2 Plus Tough website. I have an article up there that lists all 10 of the finalists and all their entries. And then also in that description, they weren't in any order. That's the same order I did the polling in. But also in that description down below, you will see the first through fifth. So you will be able to see who won. As befitting the winner of the event, the thumbnail image is, of course, a flesh eater court, which you will understand why that is. My mic's even lower. The levels are dropping. There we go. I'm having all sorts of tech trouble today. My goodness. So with that, you can also, check those out. So the winners are down below. Number 1 is Moonebrook, which is a flesh eater court story that is really cool. What was the other ones? A lot of them were tied, so I put them both up there. So there was On Gilded Steps, which I will honestly say is my personal favorite. Whoever wrote that, I still have your emails. I'm going to be emailing you this weekend. Phenomenal story. Like, really, really well done. Then there is the Harkall Warhost, which is I believe a Nurgle story. And the Kunnin But Brutal, kind of gives it away in the title there. And Where Blood Makes the Grass Grow, which is a Khorne warband set in Hysh. So, and there are different kinds of stories too, like I had said. Some are more like expositional, like kind of like the lore videos that I typically do, and some are, for example, On Gilded Steps is 100%. It's a short story. It's something they would print in the White Dwarf, as one of those like little, too small to be a booklet type things where it's a story and there's characters and that kind of stuff. So what I'm going to do now is transition down to the downward cam. And we're going to start some painting. Let me turn on my blinding light of blinding. Sorry about all the tech trouble in the beginning there. My goodness. What faction was second place? It wasn't really a faction. It was just a story, but it involves Dark Oath War Queen, basically. So I guess you could say Slaves to Darkness. And let's see. Blood makes the grass grow. Kill, kill, kill. All right. So what am I painting today? Well, I'm actually I'm taking a color break from the Nurgle. I have been enjoying the Nurgle. I have an event tomorrow where I will be playing them. So you'll see pictures all over Insta, and Facebook and all that stuff of me playing my Maggotkin, having a great time. Side note, if you do not do social media, that's totally fine. If you head to the link down below, which is going to start being in all my videos, I redid my website. And so I actually have the Instagram feed built into that, so you don't actually have to log in to see all of my Instagram posts. So if that is more your style, completely respect it. You can still follow along. So that's cool for those people who don't do the social medias. Or, because a lot of folks I've noticed in this hobby, like, build fake accounts, and it's like, oh yes, I'm scheduling a game with Reboot Gilliman, and you're just like, nah. Let's see. I've actually been a busy bee when it comes to this Gene Stealer cult. I don't know how well this shows up on camera. Let me pull it up here. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I got a 10-man unit of Aberrants painted. I have, I think, 10 to 15 of the Acolytes, which is like the mutated version of these dudes. And if you didn't catch it, yes, this is the second time that I have played Gene Stealer cults, or painted Gene Stealer cults. The difference is, my sole purpose with this round is to get an army done as fast as possible, because I realize that I don't actually play a lot of 40k, nor do I have an abundance of opportunities to, but when I do, I always want to have something ready to hang out and play with my good friend Ben. So, I was like, I was looking around, I had that Night Haunt, and I was like, well, after I got more acquainted with my Maggot Kin, it became very clear, I'm not going to play these Night Haunt. Like, they look stellar, but I am just not going to play them. And so this guy hooked me up with my good buddy Josh locally, hooked me up with a whole bunch of Gene Stealer cults, enough to build an entire army. And so here we is. So the whole idea is, how much contrast and speed can we crank these guys out with? And that's what I am all about. Get it done. So I'm doing the rusted, I think it's called the Rusted Claw. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check. But they have like a bright orange cloth, and all the stuff is gray. All the armor bits and junk are gray. And it makes it paint very quickly thanks to contrast. Griff Charger Gray. Or Griff Hound Gray, something like that. Paint some Seraphon. Man, I'm tempted. I haven't been tempted by the last few armies. Even Slaves to Darkness, I wasn't like plotting out an army, but man, Seraphon got me good. They got me good. I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure there will be some killer deals on eBay with the way that everyone's been complaining about it up to the lead up to it. So, so that's been an ongoing thing. If you don't follow me on social media, I've been poking fun at Seraphon players the last 2 weeks. Not players. That's not right. It is people complaining about GW who happen to be playing Seraphon and feel justified in their complaints. How about that? So, yeah, it's been a solid week of memes and just good laughs all around. And I'm having a good time. It's amazing how much more you enjoy this hobby if you just kind of take it as it comes rather than worrying about being competitive. And that's what Doug does. So, yeah, that's what's going on with me. Plus, honestly, the reason I chose this specific scheme, one, it's easy to paint, but two, they're bright, whereas a lot of my Nurgle stuff is very, very dark tones. And so I just wanted to mix it up a little bit. And so basically it's doing all the fabric parts, and then you just go right back over it and pick out the metals and that kind of thing. And it comes together pretty quick. Sometimes the hardest part with these models is knowing where like the boot ends and the pants begin. Let's see. Remember, you only need one kidney. Yeah. That's funny. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited for all the stuff that's coming out, and I'm excited for Seraphon folks, even if they aren't excited for themselves. I'll be excited for you. And I'm getting weird calls right in the middle of a stream, of course. Here we go. They seem really weak as well. I have converted Witch Hunter and it snapped at the foot. Oh, talking about the specific model. Yeah. Let's see. First time watching the actual stream. Greetings from Germany. Awesome. Tabletop dudes. Welcome. At this point, yeah, I'm just chilling. Things that have happened this week is I have begun relearning, yeah, how to play Blood Bowl, and that's been fun. Basically, I felt a peer pressure in my own Discord where they're doing a Blood Bowl league, and I'm sitting the one that they're currently doing out, but I'm going to hop into the next one. And it's one of those things, like, Blood Bowl's always been on my radar, But it's one of those things that's like, you know, it wasn't until this year where I've been like, I want to play every skirmish and smaller scale game there is. Like that is really where I'm at right now, where it's like, I want to play Necromunda, I want to play Infinity, I want to play Malifaux, I want to play all these things that are just like a handful of models, not huge armies, and I love it. Mainly because I find there's a lot more fun and wacky rules when you scale down a bit. I'm not sure why that is, but I'm excited about it. So anyway, Blood Bowl is fantastic for that, simply because, you know, you just need a box or two, probably two, you know, to get all your player options. You build your team, and then you kind of act like a little coach, and it's fun. It's also very, I don't know, it's a very tactical game, and I don't understand sports stuff at all, so like it's a whole learning process for me. I know it's not actually a sport, but people use sport like terms, like having a cage and defending, you know, the receiver and that kind of stuff. I'm like, I don't know any of this stuff. If you move, let's see, if you move your phone in more slightly, we'll see an infinite copy of the stream. There you go. Doug, tell us about the Gene Stealer cult army you are building. Sure. So I got these guys from a local friend, and I just wanted a super simple army to throw together really quickly with contrast, or even preferably it was already painted and I would just finish it up. And the reason is I wanted to get some games in with my buddy Ben. And I put the offer out there. I was like, hey, I don't really care what 40k army it is. I just kind of want something that, you know, I can crank out pretty fast, and you know, it doesn't even have to play at any kind of level. That's not how me and Ben typically play. It's like competitive, that kind of. No, it just has to have some cool stuff, you know, make it worth my while. And so buddy Josh reached out to me and said he had a bunch of these guys. They came already built and primed, and if you know, building is my least favorite part of the hobby. And you know, and I said it the last time, I was thinking about why I got rid of Gene Stealer cults before. Because if you have watched the channel for a while, you know that I actually owned them. It was a while ago, back before the book came out. And before the book came out, they, like the actual codex for them, they frankly were not fun. I played many games with them. They looked great. But I didn't, like, they didn't do anything. They're just like Imperial Guard or Astra Militarum, whatever you want to call them, without any fun abilities back then. I thought personally, I know that people will disagree with that, but they didn't have any flavor, which is, you know, a thing that happened when GW put everything in indexes. A lot of those things were very flavorless, and then the flavor got added with battle tomes, which was the whole plan. For me, looking, you know, when someone, you know, offered a Gene Stealer cult army to get me rocking and rolling back in 40k, I was looking at what kind of changed, and honestly, Gene Stealer cult is everything I wanted from Tzeentch in Age of Sigmar, which is a strange statement. So let me unpack that. If you read the first Disciples of Tzeentch battle tome in AOS, they really describe the army as these, like, it's full of cultists, and they, you know, insidious in nature, and they, you know, destroy cities from the ground up, and then they all revolt and reveal themselves as Disciples of Tzeentch, and the whole place just falls apart. Very much a cult mentality, like a cult design and that kind of stuff, but absolutely, like, none of that shows up on the table, like, at all. They're only, like, real mortals or Carrick acolytes, like, in terms of, like, humans who would be uprising, that kind of thing. And if you know me in real life, when I'm not YouTubing, I have a deep fascination bordering on obsession with true crime, particularly interested in cults. I just think it's super interesting. And so the idea of that kind of stuff, like playing on a tabletop, was really appealing to me. And then I kind of lost interest when Tzeentch wasn't able to do that. But now, with these guys' rules, they actually do, like, represent that, of this insidious underbelly thing, with the whole way that they can, if you're not familiar with Gene Stealer cults in 40k, basically, when you're deploying, you can either put stuff in reserve so it pops out later, like Most things can. You know, kind of like the AS equivalent outside 9 inches, that kind of jazz. Or you can put a token down. Or you can just deploy them as normal, whatever you want to do. And what that means is like, you know, I'm putting, this token down here represents 1 unit from my army. You're not bound to what unit is there. And so you have all your opponent sees is a whole bunch of tokens, they move forward, and you get to react to whatever they do and deploy the right units in the right place to make them suffer for it. And I was like, oh, that sounds so cool. It sounds like they've been studying the government and getting the lay of the land, and all of a sudden they can uprise and know where, you know, they know the tactics of their country, and they can surprise, and get them. So I think that sounds awesome. And so I was sold. And so I got these guys. They were, like I said, built and primed, which is honestly the part of making an army that is always the longest and the worst for me. And it's why I built every single Nurgle model in that Nurgle army, because I wanted that army to hurt, so that I wouldn't trade it or sell it. Of which I've had no desire to. So I guess that worked, but I never want to put that much work into an army again. What else? Yeah, so I know that's my idea with the Gene Circle. As far as the specific, like, you know, city storm hosts, whatever you want to call them, hive that I'm basing them off of, it is purely aesthetic. I like the orange work overalls. I'm told they're not bad in the game. They're not the top tier optimal choice, but they're also not like, you know, the garbage pail kids of the faction. Which I'm cool with. I'm cool with that little middle section. And so yeah, that's my Gene Stealer cults. I have, so the place I'm at with them is a little bit strange. So I don't think the guy I got them from built them all. Like, he was the actual guy who built them. I think he got them in a trade as well, and then he primed them. I'm not sure. But basically, the only downside is every single weapon option that can be done is done. And that's not typically how you know, it's not not only is it not the optimal way in terms of competition to take your units with every single option that you can buy in there, but also that doesn't really appeal to me, that logic. The reason I'm not a fan of that is because it's a lot of weapon profiles to remember. And so I'm going to be eventually buying a Star Collecting box, which just has one of each of the basic units, and then filling it in with normal dudes. You know, like right now, if I were to build these, I could have, you know, 40 neophyte cultists, these dudes. But they'd have all these super crazy guns, and it would take a lot of time. Instead, I'm just going to have a few units, and then I'll fill in the other ones with special weapons and that kind of stuff. So, yeah. That's kind of the one hurdle. But, you know, I totally get that. Rule of cool, those weapons do look rad. They built every one of them. I don't blame them. They look really cool. So, let's see. Let me check out the chat here. I'm also painting Gene Stealer Cult with orange suits. How are you getting a good orange? For me, I'm using the Gryph-hound orange contrast paint. If you want things to be a little bit darker in some areas, go over it with Fugan orange wash. Dry brushing lightly with Jacaro orange looks really, really good in my opinion. Just for the highest lights, because it kind of dulls the color a little bit. But also understand that this army, like the intention here, is to bang these out as quickly as possible. This is not... I'm going for the pinnacle of 3-foot fabulous here, more so than I normally do. So if you're looking for a good orange, maybe my suggestions aren't down that alleyway. But I think in the last like week and a half, I've gotten quite a few of these guys done, actually. It does help that I can use them in Kill Team and Necromunda, now that Gene Stealer Cults have rules in all those systems as well. I did go out and grab, because I'm a sucker, the Book of Ruin for Necromunda, so I can learn more about how they infect the cults or they infect the gangs with the cult stuff. Really cool. And it's just been a fun time. Let's see. Happy birthday, Hugh. Tabletop Dudes, you're by far one of my favorite YouTube channels. Oh, thank you. Currently writing AOS D&D campaign and I love it. Oh, that's awesome, man. Keep it up. Let's see. Question: how many start collecting sets of Gene Stealer cults would you get if you needed to start from scratch? Ooh. I would definitely at least start with 2 for sure, because then you get a whole bunch of infantry options, because neophytes, these guys are the basic dudes, are great because they're 10 dudes, 10 bodies that are dirt cheap and they consider an objective. And then if you had 2 units of the other kit that comes in there, the other infantry kit is the Acolyte hybrids. They're like your more punchy in combat kind of thing variant, and so they'd be pretty good there. So I would deck out. Basically, it fills off all your troop needs because you have enough of them. You have 4, and then you can, equip them to do a specific role. So I would say definitely 2, maybe 3 if you want to go nuts. I can't remember what the hero is in that box. I haven't actually picked one up. I got everything I need to kind of get me started from this one big lot. But I think it's a Magos, isn't it? A Magos? The wizard dude? I'm not sure. But yeah, so that's definitely what I would say. It has a lot of viability. Plus those the vehicles that come with it, they are not shabby. Not at all. And what's cool is what I love, and I have no idea why I like this so much, but you can actually like hide the vehicles too, just like you can the units, which is like, you put down a token, your opponent thinks, oh, that's probably like a bunch of neophytes, and then all of a sudden you spring it and it's a tank. It's just sitting there looking at you. I have one of the rock grinder tanks. I have a Lehman Russ with all the weapon options. I got one of those cliff runners, whatever the car that comes in the starter set is. So yeah, I got a good little start. I will warn you, the only way that this faction, because they didn't change much of the weapon profiles from when I played before, so I can tell you, like, there's a not an abundance of ways to deal with super heavy armor, other than you gotta get into melee. You gotta get in there. And that is all there is to it. Okay, let's see. I'm getting caught up. Airbrush, don't believe in him. Fighting to not buy models, especially Seraphon. Oh yeah, dude. It's been a rough week. I'm actually painting a bunch of stuff for Jack Cities of Sigmar armies. And initially I was like, if you hook me up with some Seraphon stuff, like, I'll just paint it for that. You don't have to pay me or anything like that. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to walk that back a little bit. I need to finish some projects before I take on anything else, because I will go insane. That's where I'm at right now. Cranking out these guys so I can start playing, all the games that I mentioned before, right? 40k, Necromunda, Kill Team with them. Kill Team first for sure, because me and Ben already have the table and everything perfect for that. AOS Army is Maggotkin, and it's looking good. I have an event tomorrow that I'm actually very excited for. And if you want to follow along, you can follow any of my social media stuff in the description below, or you can go to my website, which is also down there, where it has all the links to the what do you call it, the lore contest. And on the main page of that website is like basically a news feed of my Instagram, so you can look at it without having to log in, which is nice for those folks who don't like it. But basically, yeah, I'm going to go tomorrow, take my Maggotkin, and I'll have a little video kind of describing how the list works, and I'll put that on for my patrons. I like to do these little videos where it's not, not super valuable stuff that I think would really get views anyway, but it's just, those little interactions where I can spend some quality time with the people who support the channel, make it happen. Let's see. Question: lore contest winner videos next week or later on? I'm not gonna. I want to see the Seraphon Battle Tome. Hopefully, my copy should be arriving at work today. Because the question is, how much do I have to do for that? I feel like that would take precedent. But if it's not this coming week, it will be next week. The only asterisk there is the one on Gilded Steps. That one, because it is like a straight story, it's not an expositional thing at all. I'm gonna have to wrestle up some voice actors, and we'll go through that one. But I'll do that over the week. So, yeah, it just depends on how much work they do. Some of them are very, very simple. Some of them not so much. So, and it's just the format. I think I learned a lot from doing this. And as long as it ends with no one's feelings getting hurt or no whining, I think it should be just fine. But I think next time I would be more specific. It's, yeah. I didn't even think about the fact that, like, how do I make a lore video out of this, like, actual story? Jacob Whitaker, sorry for being difficult. Don't sweat if you can't get it done. Jacob, was that you who wrote that? Because there was one other one, I think. That was a story-based one. Let's see. Spartan Gaming, what's a good unit to look for at Night Haunt? What's a good unit to look at for Night Haunt? Got the starter set and Allender, but need something cheap. A good unit. Does anyone play Night Haunt in the chat? Because I own some, but I do not know much about them, like as an actual army. I only really know much about them as how they, the ethereal and that kind of basic knowledge stuff. So if someone can help out, where would you expand from Night Haunt if all you had was the Start Collecting box and Olander? That'd be very appreciated. Jacob, you're a champ, my friend. Kunnin But Brutal was also more of a short story. Yes, that's what I was thinking of. Let's see. Grimghast Reapers. There's a suggestion. Lord Executioner is always good. Gene Stealer Kill Team with Western theme sounds. Awesome. Orange jumpsuits, convicts, gunslingers. Yeah, I actually... so in the lot that I got, I actually have almost every single hero option. The female variant of the Magos was damaged, and I was like, I don't... to get all the parts to do it, I just buy another model. So that one's out. It's having in my bits box for conversions. And also, I think I'm missing the 3-armed gunslinger. The Kellermorph, I think is what he's called. So he's cool. I'll have to get him at some point. But yeah. Let's see. Do you like how they brought Cetra back? They didn't. I mean, well, I guess technically he's kind of like he's become the face of Warhammer Total War, which is kind of funny, which I like that actually. Just re-getting into the hobby, not regretting the hobby. Okay, definitely misread it the first time. Your vids have really helped me understand what's going on. Well, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Doomslayer Gunslinger is now sold alone in the store. Oh, sweet. That's right. They did. They dumped a whole bunch of those heroes. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Do Dolorous Guard Battalion with Olander. Not familiar with that one. That's cool though. I heard Dolorous and like, oh, they use that word a lot in the Maggotkin book, and I got really excited. And I was like, oh, you're talking about you're helping the guy I asked everyone to help. Tomorrow I'm taking the Affliction Cyst, which you don't see too much of anymore. But yeah, I if you don't know me, I love Puscoil Blight Lords, the guys who fat boys riding flies. They are my favorite. They are bae. And so my whole strategy is based around just chucking them so hard in my opponent's face that they cannot handle it while everybody else goes and hops on an objective. And that's all there is to it. And that's why I like it. Because I think, so let's see, the last game I played, I talked about it online where I played against Nighthaunt, which is the game where I decided that I don't want to own Nighthaunt because they just didn't seem fun. But yeah, I was playing that, and that's exactly what happened. It's just grinding out stuff. And what's cool is that realistically, they really don't die that fast. I mean, I know I was playing against Nighthaunt who don't hit very hard. So I shouldn't just, be an idiot and chuck them straight into their killiest unit, but it's cool to know that they probably could do okay. They also have a bucket load of attacks, each dude. Taking this chance to read a lot of the top 10. Made it through 4 so far. Everyone did amazing. Oh, yeah. Soul Wars for Nighthaunt is excellent. Oh my gosh, we're getting there. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of regret being so ambitious to batch paint like 25 of these guys all in one sitting, but you know what? This army's about getting it done fast, so we're gonna do it. I think the next layer is gonna be probably the gray armor bits. Which that one you just put on. So there's Griff Hound orange and there's Griff Charger gray. So the gray is going to go over all of the armor bits, and it looks really good. It just sinks really well into those little creases and makes it pop. Let's see. Make sure you get chain rasps. Yeah. Any honorable mention? Interesting concepts or stories that didn't make it to the top 10. Honorable mentions. I gotta think. So it's because it's been like now almost 2 weeks since I actually read them. Well, it's an honorable mention because I found it entertaining. But basically, it started off with all of Age of Sigmar was a dream in like a Skaven's mind, and then he awoke, and then it was just a normal Skaven story set in the old world, which I thought was like, which was just like the weirdest way to enter a Age of Sigmar lore contest. Is just like, and we're backing it up, back it up. Going back to the old world. So, I mean, I didn't put any rules on it, so yeah, is just as legitimate as anything else. There was Mr. Mephisto wrote what I'm going to call a adult parody discussion involving Slanesh, so that was fun. What else? I think those are the big ones. A lot of them, you know what it is. A lot of folks played it safe, and I like it when people don't play safe. By that I mean, you know, give me a new. Like I said in my video where I announced the contest, dazzle me, right? And the idea. So we'll pick on two people, since they're in the chat. We have on Gilded Steps. I was dazzled because it was a really intriguing story, even if it wasn't set in the mortal realms. I was like, oh, this is amazing. But that's the kind of stuff that makes the Dark Oath and Slaves to Darkness so great, is like the barbarian aspect really does translate. It surpasses AOS. It's like, that's cool. Love the story. Twist at the end. I won't reveal it. It's savage. I dig it. And then the other one we have here in the chat is Kenzie, who wrote, I always get the name wrong. Where Blood Makes the Grass Grow? Is that it? Where Blood Makes the Grass Grow, yes. And that one was a Khorne warband in Hysh, which is a very interesting concept, because, you know, what we know that the realms change everyone who goes in them. And so what does reason and logic and those kind of higher ideas look like when it's affecting savage blood people? So I thought that was a great one as well. Let's see. Greetings from Nurgle's realm of Germany. Yeah, speaking of Nurgle, my goodness. My wife got told to work from home for the next 2 weeks. She works in downtown Seattle, and the bosses are just like, it's not worth the liability of us getting sick, so everybody works from home. It was like, oh, dang. Have you read Neferata, Dominion of Bones? No, I have not. Is that a Age of Sigmar book, or is that an Old World book? Because I know she had stuff in both, so I have to ask. Such a good one. Right on. I'll be honest with you, I have not been, well, outside of the lore contest, because that took up a lot of my mental space, not been reading a whole lot. My time has been spent with, because I needed like a mental AOS break after all the lore entries and that kind of stuff. I've been listening to an audiobook of the Mothman Prophecies, and John Keel's my homeboy. And yeah, so catch the fever, distrust the government, believe in aliens, do it, join me. Okay. Doesn't Dominion of Bones feature Ostearch Bone Reapers? Interesting. No, but there's a Black Knight who's an excellent character. Right on. Right on. Let's see. Hello, adult toy collectors. Greetings from Germany. Got a lot of people from Germany today. How's it going? Apparently, this is like the apex time to catch Germans hobbying. I'll have to stick that in my notes pockets for the future. It's hard to find a good time for everybody, you know. Mr. Worldwide, me, as it is, having to struggle with it. Let's see. Have you watched that new WoW Prophecy fan-made AOS animation? No, I have no idea what that is. But tell me what to Google and I'll Google it after this. And with that, we have completed step un. Okay, let me get Brush cleaned, we're gonna grab the next color and do the whole thing whoop, all over again. Let's see, Snakebite, Fire Slayers. And we'll need that one eventually. Give me 1 second here. Sorry about that. There we go. I just bought a. There was a store locally where they had contrast on sale in a huge bin because they ordered way too much, and so I bought a bunch, but I haven't had a chance to organize them like I normally do with my paints, and so I had to go back to digging around for them. Let's see. Yeah, this here. Oh, the Astartes animation. No, I have not. That sounds interesting, though. I remember seeing, like, I was at Nova when they first started showing some of the official stuff for their series that they're doing. I think that's probably the same one, but I haven't actually followed up at all with that. It's tough, man, when it comes to taking a franchise you like and then putting it on the screen is a really rough thing, you know? Because it's like, I don't know. It never lives up to the expectations we have in our heads, I think, is part of it. And then sometimes it totally exceeds those expectations, but no one appreciates it, like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, which was an awesome movie. Okay, boom. Oh yeah, we're gonna hammer through these guys. Let's see. Astartes is not official, but it is amazing. Okay, so it's not the thing I was thinking of. It's not official. I was thinking of, isn't there like a Blood Angels thing coming out soon where it's like it's all black and white except for like red or something like that? I mean, like, I don't know. There was something like that. Maybe I'm crazy. I just remember thinking it'd be like, oh, it's like 40K Schindler's List, where it's all black and white, and then there's just that one thing in red where you're like, Angels of Death, thank you. Okay. So this army is going to go pretty fast, I think. Feeling confident. I think I'll have the gloves be brown just to make them, you know, a little bit different. And I am going to come back over and highlight some of like the smoother surfaces on here, but this gray is fantastic for just, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but if you go look at the Neophyte Hybrids kit on GW, which is the basic infantry that I'm painting today, all of their armor have these little ridges in them, and so it's perfect for a wash or contrast just to like fall right into the cracks. And it's just a matter of tidying up, which is really nice. Prime time for German viewers. Nice. Yes, I totally prepared that because I am a very professional YouTuber. 100% would do again. It's nice to see my cunning strategy of timing and synchronization across the world is paying off. But yeah, they got a whole bunch of stuff coming. I don't know. We were talking with our friends the other night about the idea of like what would we want in a Total War Warhammer, but AOS version. I don't know. That was so hard for me to put out there, but I don't know, man. There's just I want like just them to really lean into the craziness of the setting a bit. Is my biggest thing. Yeah. Much appreciated in London. Sweet. Yeah, that's the thing. I knew I would catch folks in the UK, but my understanding of time zones gets a little murky the further out I go from there, so I wasn't sure about Germany or any of those things. I mean, every once in a while I get a comment that's like, could you do these at like, 4 a.m. so I can catch them in Czechoslovakia? And I'm like, no. I don't know how else to say this. No. But yeah, no, I try. So that's really good to know. So I do these a little bit earlier than I normally would do them on Fridays, always Fridays, so that there's at least one day of the week where I'm always catching folks. It's 8:30 in Ireland. Sweet. Well, I hope everyone's doing good. Tell me this in the chat. What is everybody working on? Get some discussion going about that. Still waiting to hear, hopefully, from my coworkers in the next 2 hours or so about my Seraphon battle tome arriving to my work. I have it sent there because, for whatever reason, the mail or the post at my apartment complex just loses stuff all the time. So, I don't know. Let's see. Working on Skaven Jezzail teams. Nice, the metal version. Okay. Jane Czar, White Scar, Stormcast. Lots of skeletons. Slaves to Darkness. Chosen. Okay. Haven't seen a Chosen painted in forever. Bone Reapers. Beastclaw. Finishing up my Beastclaw Raider Magmadroth. Tell me about that. That's interesting. Still chipping away. I'm working on work. Let's see. Still chipping away at my Sylvaneth. Right on. I was actually having a discussion yesterday, I think for sure, with the Reeling Ones guys about the Sylvaneth. And I have a question for you. I believe it's Amy. Sorry, I haven't seen that spelling before with just AMI. Did you play Sylvaneth before their current book? Like, did you play the old Battle Tome as well? I'm curious. What I'm really curious is, for people who have played the old Battle Tome, how do you think it compares fun-wise? I'm just talking competitively. I don't really care about that. But like fun-wise compared to the new one. Do you like the new one? You're not? What you think? Because as we were talking about, the cult ambush stuff and being able to teleport, and Seraphon was a relevant part of that conversation too. It's like, oh man, I love that kind of stuff, but I just couldn't get behind it because I wasn't a huge fan with the Sylvaneth when it came out to like having to integrate trees into that. And I was like, Gobos, yeah. So I got to hop off this chat, and when I'm done with it, well, not like I don't have to hop off now, but when I hop off of this, I'm going to go work really hard on some lore videos. And because basically I have an event tomorrow. I'm going to go to a local tournament, just a one-dayer, nothing fancy. And I got to prep for that, got everything packed and ready. I just saw a notification come through about it. I probably should read that at some point. Really want to paint Loon Boss on Cave Squig? Nice. Germany is just 1 hour behind. Okay, so I did not know that. That's really cool. Who won the lore contest? Look in the description down below. I have the winners right there. I congratulate them at the beginning of the stream, but we'll move on from there. But the information's down below, and a link to my website where I have all of the finalist entries so you can read through 10 awesome, really cool pieces of lore. There were other cool ones for sure. Will not deny that. These are just the ones that really struck home, I think. Little home run. Let's see. Alex, good luck. What army you taking? I am taking my Maggotkin of Nurgle, which is an unusual one. And because if you know me, I like to be a special snowflake. So I take weird lists where this one has 8 Puscoil Blight Lords, where it's the fat boys on flies. 8 of those. So there's a unit of 2, a unit of 2, a unit of 4. And then the Lord of Afflictions. So I have the battalion, the Affliction Cyst. And basically the whole idea with that entire thing is I throw 6 of them, not all of them, but 6 of them, as far forward into my opponent's face as possible. And the rest of the army, which is a big unit of Blight Kings and a big unit of Plague Bearers, they just run with all haste onto objectives. And so basically the idea is, can you tear through the fat boy flies and tear me off of objectives fast enough, right? It asks that one question. And if you can, you win. 100% every time. I will lose 100% of the time if you can. And that's the thing where, because I'm not looking to win. I just want to go have 3 solid games and probably get some beers at lunch. It helps me to have a list that does exactly one thing, because then I can just be like, my one thing's not working. Cool, shake hands. We're done, Nice and simple and quick. Games don't drag on. I've never had a game... I've kept track of the clock. Like, I've never played these guys at a tournament, but even just looking at the clock, I'm not going to go to time unless my opponent just really just does not roll dice, and they try to clock me out. But even then, if they try to run the clock, that only helps me if I can get on the objective. So, yeah. Feel free to share lore entries on the Discord. Yep, we can do that. Let's see. Hopefully you do another lore contest. Had to pull out due to a spine treatment and recovery. Oh man, hope you're doing well. Yeah, as of this exact second, I'm feeling very positive about it. And we'll see. Once the dust settles and the videos are made and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to kind of stop and just kind of reassess and be like, did people have fun? Did people receive it the way it was intended, which is just, a little fun community exercise to share some cool stuff. And, if I'm being totally transparent, give me some content, because I'm pretty sure China's going to shut down manufacturing of Games Workshop stuff here in a little bit. That's my conspiracy theory hat. So I got some stuff to talk about, which I'm very excited for. So there's a lot of cool stuff. You know, a lot of pluses. Honestly, I was more afraid that people were just... I don't want to say whine, because it's not really true. Like, I'll be honest, there were entries that if we're looking at, like, if you were to submit them into a college, would probably have outwon the ones that I picked, based purely on stuff like grammar and that kind of stuff. But the thing is that this is not a scholastic competition. This is just like, I thought this was cool. and we have folks from all over the world, and so there were people from like Norway who were just like, you know, he sent the entry in and he's like, you know, I don't know how hard you'll penalize me for my English. I'm like, dude, I barely speak English. We're doing great. You're doing great. Sean, Doug, are you going to Dark Tower tomorrow? Yep, that's where the event is at. Dark Tower Games in Bellingham. Be there, Maggotkin in full glory. Then we'll go next door for lunch, grab myself a Bud Light, just chill out, do nothing. As with always, my tournament desire is always to go 2-1. Just do better than I didn't. That's not a hard and fast thing. I don't want to lose every game, but I'd be fine with losing 1 or 2. I do think, I mean, especially if ideally, the perfect scenario for me, and I think this is what I wish more people wanted when they went to events, instead of having stars in their eyes, they're going to be winners. I want everyone to assume, okay, I'm going to go there, I'm going to lose my first game, I'm going to smile, I'm going to have a great time, and then I'm going to start playing people my skill bracket. Like that to me is the dream. I want my first round to be against the guy who's going to win the whole thing. So, you know, Jack. Hey. I felt kind of bad. The last time we all went to Dark Tower, the guys from Seattle just like took first, second, and third, just wrecked them. Maybe we need to ease up. 3 and 2 is always my goal. See, yeah, I don't go to 2-day events. I've never been to a 5-game thing, and honestly, I don't know if I'd want to. Mainly, I just get tired. I don't want to roll dice. I want to just hang out and get lunch. Two and 1 at one day. Yeah, that's kind of my thought. That's the thing. They're doing a big GT in our area, like the next couple weeks. It might be next week. I don't actually remember. I mean, because you can tell I don't really pay attention to the GT stuff. But yeah, they're doing a big GT thing, and people are like, "Are you going to go to that?" I'm like, I don't wanna. I'll go to one day of it. But yeah, I understand. Plus, you know, I mean, like, everybody has their reasons for not liking those things. Like, for example, if you have children, that's a concern, because, you know, that what you're asking is childcare has to be taken care of. So it's either your significant other or finding somebody, that kind of stuff. Or, you know, for me, it's the YouTube channel. It's just like, man, if I go to a 2-day event, I need to rest that 3rd day. And that means there's no videos made. Like, that's everything. That's my whole lot of time that I have to make videos. So I need that 3rd day to get brownie points with the misses. Where are we at time-wise? Let me take a look here. Right at about an hour. Okay, okay. Well, they're coming along. I'm digging these. They will be painted very quickly. And so basically, I'm doing these in sections. Cool. I just got a text that my Seraphon battle tome arrived at work. So I'll tell you what, friends. I'm gonna go hang up. I'm gonna go get my battle tome, and I'm gonna look at it. And let's see, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Saturday. I won't be able to do my normal sit and talk thing. Yeah, so I gotta go get this battle tome and get a thing done so I can actually have a video for you all going up tomorrow. Hey, I'll tell you what. This chat, the people in here right now, my friends over in the UK and Germany, and people listening at work in the US, you get to decide. What would you like to hear about in the new Seraphon battle tome? I don't mean lore. I mean, like, if I get the book, I can record something tonight about rules and sub-factions and that kind of stuff. What would you like to hear about? You guys get to decide. And then, of course, I will be doing a full lore breakdown over time. So, I will continue to paint these dudes for just a bit while answers come in. But here's the thing is, like, you know, Ash on Guerrilla Miniature Games, he does a great service for people where he just reads the book. And so if that's all you want, I'll direct you that way. But if you want, you know, me to spend time to do a more in-depth discussion on something, you know, let me know. People call him man who reads a book, and I never like that, because it's like, just say his name. His name is Ash. He's a cool guy. He does a cool thing. Let's see. Don't really care much about Seraphon, so I'm impartial. I think that's want to hear about the new huge dino stuff? Okay. Sub-factions, right on. The Coalesced, yes. Yeah, like I said, there's probably going to be 3 or 4 dedicated Seraphon lore videos for sure. Because the things that they added seemed so interesting. And you know, if they did go back and change the units, I'll redo all the videos. I won't take the old stuff down. I'll just add to it. But yeah. This is Stegodon. Okay. Cool. Got some good answers there. Okay, yeah, so it looks like just, I mean, yeah, I'm mainly talking about rules for tomorrow's video, as I'll do dedicated lore videos throughout the week. Seraphon lore book, a little preview I read makes it sound like they are no longer made of magic. I'm out of date. So what they've done is that if you are Seraphon living in Azir, you are infused with Azir magic, light energy, and so yes, those are still summoned down and treated like, I don't know, they were, I guess, close to the old stuff. I know it's not the same keyword wise and everything like that, so don't want to go too deep on that. But they are kind of the Seraphon we've had so far. But then they also introduced an option called the Coalesced, which is the longer that a Seraphon stays outside of Azir, meaning they're in the realms, they become more of substance until they are full creatures that are birthed at spawning pools and that kind of stuff, like Seraphon of old. So they kind of just went porque no las dos and just did both. Did the Source Guard get good, or is it still Age of Skinkmore? That's a great way to ask that. I hope they got good, because if I was going to do Seraphon, that's what I would take. I would focus on Source stuff. So friends, I'm going to go ahead and hop off and get that taken care of. I'll get my wife some lunch, and I'll get my book, and I'll get to cracking on a video for tomorrow morning. Thank you all so much for joining me. I will see you all very, very soon. Have a wonderful day.